Imagine holding a prism up to the morning sun. The glass is ordinary, clear, silent, unnoticed. But when it meets the light, it bends it, separates it, reveals the hidden spectrum within what once seemed pure and white. A quiet piece of glass transforms the world. And so do you. You are that prism. Your mind, your perception. This is the lens through which the light of life passes. And what emerges from it depends entirely on the angles you've shaped within. Some people see chaos and lose control. Others, facing the exact same world, remain still, like a deep mountain lake, undisturbed by the winds above. The Stoics believed that our minds worked in precisely this way. It is not what happens that defines our suffering, but how we interpret what happens. And this message is not a gentle reflection. It is a battle cry, a call to reclaim the territory of your own mind, your peace, your clarity, your power to choose calm over chaos. Because the world outside you will never be still. The news will never stop screaming. Life will never stop testing you. People will misunderstand you, betray you, abandon you, love you, praise you, and forget you. The world is not yours to control. But what is yours, and only yours, is the space between what happens and how you choose to respond. The Stoics called this the only true freedom. Calm, then, is not the absence of noise. It is the mastery of perception. It is the quiet power to filter chaos through the mind like a prism, breaking it down into its true parts and choosing the response you wish to give. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." He didn't say, "Fix the world." He said, "Revoke your estimate. Revoke the thought that this event defines your day, your worth, your peace. Revoke the meaning you've attached to something that is, in essence, just another moment in time." Imagine this. A man wakes up late. He spills coffee on his shirt. Traffic is brutal. A client cancels. By 10 a.m. he's already told himself, "This is a bad day." His body tenses. His breath shortens. His face scowls at strangers. The world becomes his enemy. But another man wakes up the same way. Sees the spill and smiles. It reminds him to slow down. He takes the traffic as a chance to breathe. The canceled client becomes unexpected time to rest. The day unfolds as any other, but inside he is untouched. He is free. The same events happened. Only the prism was different. So here is your first practice. Each morning, before the world touches you, before the emails, the phone, the pressure, sit for 1 minute. Say to yourself, "Today things will not go as planned. People will interrupt me. Delays will arise. But none of these will disturb my peace, unless I allow them to." And then visualize your mind as a prism. Let life pass through you, not break you. Emotional contagion. You walk into a room and without a word spoken, you feel it. The tension, the exhaustion, the electricity in the air. A sigh, a glance, the posture of a stranger. Suddenly you're carrying something that isn't yours. This is emotional contagion. The invisible transfer of energy, mood, and mindset from one person to another. We think we are autonomous, that our emotions are self-generated, but the truth is, many of them are inherited in real time from the people and environments we inhabit. We absorb stress like smoke in our lungs. We mimic frustration, tension, and fear without noticing. And the cost is our clarity. Seneca warned, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." But what he didn't write, yet lived, is that much of that imagination is borrowed. Borrowed from others' panic, their projections, their unexamined chaos. If your mind is your home, then every person you engage with brings something into that house. Some bring light. Others bring storms. Think of your emotions as a garden. Each interaction either plants a seed or pulls one up. Some people, just by their presence, add weeds, pessimism, urgency, anger. Others bring water and sunlight. The Stoic path is not to avoid people or isolate, but to cultivate what Epictetus called inner citadels. Strongholds of character that filter what comes in, like a gatekeeper of the mind. A woman walks into work after a fight at home. Her boss is sharp, impatient. Her coworker sighs loudly. A client is cold and distracted. By noon, she's carrying 5 emotional burdens that are not her own. She doesn't realize she's suffocating. But another woman in the same place has built her citadel. She notices the sharpness but doesn't absorb it. She hears the sigh but lets it pass. She walks into emotional storms like a lighthouse, tall, lit, unmoved. This is not detachment. This is discernment. The strength to know what is yours and what is not. The courage to say, "This mood does not belong to me. I return it." Here is the practice. Emotional hygiene. Just as you wash your hands after touching dirt, you cleanse your spirit after interacting with noise. After each conversation, take 10 seconds to pause. Breathe. Ask, is this mine? Or did I pick it up? And if it's not yours, let it fall. Power of present focus. A man walks through a forest, but his eyes are on his phone. He misses the curve of the branches, the softness of the moss beneath his feet, the sudden flight of birds just ahead. He passes through beauty without receiving it. Not because it wasn't there, but because his mind was somewhere else. This is the quiet tragedy of a distracted life. Presence is not a luxury. It is the root of peace. And in the Stoic tradition, it is a form of strength. To be here, not in the regrets of the past, not in the worries of the future, is to reclaim the only place where life actually happens. Epictetus said, "Only the educated are free." And by educated, he meant those who have trained their minds to see clearly, to act deliberately, and to live presently. Because when you are present, you are powerful. You see what needs to be done. You hear what is truly being said. You notice your own thoughts before they spiral. You act with precision, not panic. But most people live as if they are scattered across time. Part of their mind is replaying a conversation from last week. Another part is running simulations of what might go wrong tomorrow. And what's left, a sliver of awareness, is what they bring to now. No wonder we feel tired. We are split, fragmented, torn between versions of ourselves that no longer exist or haven't happened yet. The Stoics weren't just philosophers. They were mental warriors. They trained, moment by moment, to anchor the mind to the now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Not because the past doesn't matter. Not because the future is irrelevant. But because now is the only time you can think, speak, act, breathe. Picture a man crossing a tightrope. Every step matters. Every breath is focused. There is no space for memories or fears, only the next inch of rope beneath his foot. Life is that tightrope. And the only way to walk it with grace is to be here. The practice is this: single tasking. Do one thing with your full attention. Drink water and only drink water. Walk and only walk. Listen and only listen. This is not small. This is sacred. Because each time you return to now, you sharpen the blade of your mind. You become more alive. Voluntary discomfort. The modern world is built for comfort. Heated rooms. Instant meals. Entertainment on demand. Convenience at the tap of a finger. And yet, we are more anxious, more fragile, more overwhelmed than ever before. The Stoics would not have been surprised. Because comfort, when unexamined, becomes a prison. The moment we believe that ease is the default, any challenge becomes unbearable. But when we train ourselves to face discomfort willingly, something powerful happens. We stop fearing it. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition I feared?'" He was not promoting poverty. He was promoting power. The power to detach from fear. To know that you can endure and still remain calm. Voluntary discomfort is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the quiet decision to walk through challenge before life forces you to. Sleep on the floor once a week. Fast for a day. Take a cold shower. Leave your phone behind on a walk. These acts are not about hardship, but about remembrance. A reminder that you are not as fragile as you think. A young man trains in the winter without a coat. Not to impress anyone. Not to post about it. But to remember that he can choose discomfort and survive it. And the next time life removes his safety nets, he doesn't collapse. He recognizes the terrain. He has been there before. This is what Epictetus meant when he said, "Difficulties show men what they are." He didn't mean to seek suffering for its own sake, but rather to meet small discomforts willingly, so when the real storms arrive, your mind does not flinch. The practice is simple. Choose one act of voluntary discomfort each week. Let it be intentional. Let it stretch you. And when it comes, observe the mind. Watch how it resists, how it negotiates, and then watch how it calms, once it sees that fear was only a shadow. The obstacle is the teacher. A door slams in your face. A plan collapses. A relationship ends without explanation. The job you thought was yours goes to someone else. In these moments, the mind races. Why me? What now? This isn't fair. But for the Stoics, obstacles were never interruptions. They were instructions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." It is not a metaphor. It is a method. Life places barriers not to punish but to redirect. To show you something you would not have seen otherwise. The obstacle is not your enemy. It is your trainer. Imagine a stream of water hitting a rock. It does not stop. It bends, flows around, wears down the stone itself. The obstacle becomes part of the path. So it is with the mind trained in Stoic calm. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every failure sharpens something: humility, resilience, creativity. Every delay strengthens something: patience, perspective, discipline. The very thing you wish would disappear may be the exact experience your growth requires. A woman trains for months to run a race. On the day before, she injures her foot. Instead of spiraling into anger, she sits quietly and asks herself, "What part of me needs this pause?" She realizes she has been pushing herself beyond her limits, ignoring her body's quiet cries for rest. The injury becomes a mirror. Not the end of her progress, but a turning point. To the untrained mind, obstacles are punishments. To the Stoic, they are teachers. And like any good teacher, they do not always explain themselves immediately. But if you stay present, they reveal everything. The practice is this: when faced with frustration, delay, or difficulty, do not resist it. Write down the obstacle. Beneath it, write, "This is the lesson." Even before you understand it. This small act shifts your posture from victim to student. And in that shift, you begin to see the path is not blocked. It has simply changed direction. The fortress of attention. There is a war being fought for your attention. Every sound, every screen, every headline, every notification, each one pulls at your mind, fragmenting it, diluting it, weakening it. In a world like this, focused attention becomes more than a skill. It becomes a sanctuary, a fortress. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus said, "If a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along, and allow your peace to be disturbed." Attention is your most sacred resource. What you give it to, you give your life to. We often think of discipline as rigid schedules or endless productivity. But true discipline begins with guarding your awareness. It means becoming conscious of what you allow to enter your mental space. What you read, what you listen to, who you speak with, what you replay in your thoughts. Each of these is a seed. Each will grow into something: clarity or confusion, peace or pressure. Picture your attention as a garden enclosed by stone walls. Some visitors nourish it with wisdom, beauty, stillness. Others trample through with noise, fear, distraction. You are the gatekeeper. You decide who enters. But only if you are awake. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire while navigating personal loss and political chaos, wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." He built his fortress not with bricks, but with intention. With the ability to return, again and again, to what truly matters. A man wakes and immediately checks the news, email, social media. By the time he's dressed, his mind has already been hijacked by stories not his own. He walks through the day not with purpose but with residue, his thoughts muddy, his focus fractured. Another man wakes and begins with silence. Breath. A chosen reflection. A clear priority. He walks into the same world but moves through it like a guarded flame. The practice is awareness. Begin to track where your attention goes. Each hour pause and ask, "Where am I? What am I feeding my mind?" Choose 1 hour a day to live undistracted. No phone, no noise, just full presence in whatever you are doing. Over time, this becomes your fortress. Not made of stone, but of stillness. Amor Fati. A storm rolls in during your wedding. A friend betrays you. A plan falls apart after years of work. The instinct is to resist, to ask why, to wish things had gone differently. But the Stoic path is not resistance, it is reverence. Not merely to endure what happens, but to love it. This is Amor Fati, the love of fate. Nietzsche revived the phrase, but the Stoics lived it. To accept not just what is pleasant, but what is real. Marcus Aurelius, in the thick of illness, war, and political pressure, wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." Amor Fati is that fire. It transforms misfortune into meaning, pain into depth, life into wholeness. Loving fate does not mean you enjoy suffering. It means you trust that within each event, even the unwanted, there is something necessary. Something vital to your becoming. When you say yes to all of life, you stop being torn between what is and what you wish were true. You begin to live fully. A man loses his job. At first, he curses the timing, the injustice. But in time, he sees the forced stillness as an opening. He begins writing again. He reconnects with his children. He finds, in the ashes of his plan, the quiet architecture of a new one. He does not return to the same life. He grows into a truer one. This is not coincidence. It is Amor Fati in motion. The obstacle becomes the path. The fall becomes the awakening. When you embrace what is, you move with life, not against it. And in that flow, even sorrow has its sacred role. The practice is reflection. At the end of each day, write down one thing that did not go your way. Beneath it, write, what could this be teaching me? Then write, can I love this, not just accept it? Do not force the answer. Let it arrive over time. Amor Fati is not a switch. It is a lifelong transformation. The Stoic pause. Someone criticizes you unfairly. A stranger cuts you off in traffic. An email arrives demanding more than you can give. The impulse is immediate. React, defend, raise your voice, prove your point. But in that moment, a choice exists. A sliver of space that can change everything. The Stoics called this the most powerful tool in the human mind, the pause. Between stimulus and response, there is a breath. A breath that can save relationships, preserve dignity, redirect outcomes. This pause is not passivity. It is presence. A sacred interruption in the reflexes of the ego. Epictetus taught, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. And judgment happens fast, faster than speech, faster than reason. But breath is faster still. A single inhale can separate a thought from an action. It can save you from saying what you'll regret. It can return you to the person you want to be. A soldier hears an insult and does not reply. A mother sees her child scream and waits before speaking. A leader hears bad news and pauses before reacting. In that moment, power is reclaimed. Because the pause is not silence. It is choice. It is sovereignty. Imagine your mind as a still lake. Every reaction is a stone tossed in, ripples of emotion, disruption, noise. But the Stoic mind holds the stone a moment longer. Weighs it. Decides if it's worth throwing. Most often it is not. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up. Not every insult must be answered. Not every conflict must be joined. Not every feeling must be spoken. The pause is not weakness. It is wisdom. The practice is one breath. When emotion rises, anger, panic, urgency, pause. One deep breath before response. Count to 3. Feel the space widen. This is your edge. Where reaction becomes reflection. Where instinct becomes intelligence. Memento mori. You will die. Not someday in the abstract, but on a specific morning, afternoon, or evening. Your breath will leave you. Your name will be spoken a final time. And all the things you worried about, how you looked, what they thought, what went wrong, will fall silent. To remember death is not to be morbid. It is to be awake. The Stoics kept this truth close, not as a fear but as a compass. Memento mori, remember that you must die, was not meant to darken life, but to illuminate it. Seneca wrote, let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. When you carry death in your pocket, every moment becomes sacred. You speak more honestly. You forgive more quickly. You love more freely. You stop wasting time. Most people live as if life is a dress rehearsal. As if tomorrow is guaranteed. But tomorrow is not yours. Only this breath. Only this heartbeat. Memento mori is not about despair. It is about clarity. It strips away illusion. It makes you ask, what really matters? A man argues with his wife over nothing, then leaves the house. Hours later he gets a call. She never made it to her destination. The argument dissolves into ash. All that remains is love unspoken. Gratitude unexpressed. Regret that time cannot rewind. But another man remembers death every morning. He wakes with a silent prayer. If this is my last day, let me meet it well. He doesn't waste hours on anger. He tells his family he loves them. He works with focus. He walks with presence. He has made peace with the impermanence of things. And in doing so he lives more deeply than most. The practice is contemplation. Once a day reflect. If this were my final sunrise, how would I meet the hours ahead? Let that question guide your choices. Memento mori is not about fearing the end. It is about honoring the middle. The practice of virtue. In the end, all Stoic teaching returns to one word, virtue. Not as a vague ideal or moral perfection, but as a living, breathing way of being. Virtue is integrity in action. It is the compass that guides your decisions when no one is watching. It is strength without arrogance, kindness without need for applause, discipline without cruelty. For the Stoics, virtue wasn't abstract. It was everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Not because outcomes are irrelevant, but because outcomes are beyond your control. What is always yours is how you show up, how you carry yourself, what you choose to become in the face of life's chaos. Virtue in practice is calm in the storm. It is truth when lies are easier. It is patience when provoked. It is courage when fear whispers excuses. It is generosity when no one sees. It is showing up, especially when it's inconvenient. A person can lose wealth, status, beauty, even health. But virtue cannot be taken. It is self-made and self-sustained. And through it, peace is built. Because when you live by your highest values, you no longer need the world to behave. You become enough on your own. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." Virtue brings you home. Back to yourself. Back to the center of stillness within the spinning world. Back to clarity, not because life became easier, but because you became deeper. And this is the final practice. Choose one virtue each week: courage, humility, temperance, honesty, and live it deliberately. Reflect each night: where did I succeed? Where did I fall short? Not to judge, but to return. This is not about being perfect. It is about being aligned. To live by virtue is to live without regret. It is to walk the world with a quiet confidence. Not because you are unshakable, but because you've rooted yourself in what cannot be shaken. You began this journey holding a prism to the light. A symbol of perception, of choice, of transformation. Now you know, the calm you seek is not found in silence, nor in control, nor in the absence of storms. It is found in the steady hand that turns the prism, deciding how the light enters, how the mind responds, how the soul remains unmoved. You are the prism. You are the gatekeeper of your attention, the architect of your responses, the author of your own calm. No philosophy, no book, no master can give you that. It must be practiced, forged in real life, shaped through the fires of discomfort, delay, and loss, strengthened by pause, illuminated by presence, guided by virtue. The world will not slow down for you, but you can slow down within it. The noise will not end, but your mind can remain quiet. Death will come, but your days until then can be full of meaning. So return to your life, not as the same person but as one who sees more clearly, who walks more deliberately, who responds with less fear, more purpose. You will forget, of course. You will fall into reaction, distraction, complaint. That is human. But now you have a path, a map, a method. Let your mornings begin with stillness. Let your days be shaped by focus, courage, and acceptance. Let your nights end not in exhaustion but in reflection. And let your spirit again and again return to this truth: peace is not found. It is made by you. In this moment. Right now. Now look at your life through the prism once more. What do you see? Leave a comment below with the practice that spoke most to you. Subscribe if you want more paths like this one. And share this with someone walking through their own storm. You are the prism. Bend the light wisely.